On my first court appearance, I was scared, meek, tentative. I wasn't sure what I was going to do. I had been coached. I wrote down on a little slip of paper exactly what the people who trained me told me what to do. The room was filled with 50, 60, 70 defendants, as well as a dozen cops from different agencies, all waiting to appear. The commissioner came in, he gave his opening speech, and then they started calling people up 5 at a time. And each one was like a minute by the time they came in. He was very rough and authoritative and running over people, saying, how do you plead? How much can you pay right now? And then sending them over to the clerk to pay. When my turn came up, again, I was very scared, and meekly I said, Your Honor, I object to this, and I handed over the paper, the request for verified complaint that we fill out, to the bailiff to hand to the commissioner. At that point, a couple of times you'll see him, or he'll be quiet, and at that point he's actually reading the paper and scratching his head. But remember, there's 50 people standing behind me, and during this process, everybody's ears are perking up, wanting to know what the hell's going on. I just slowed up and gummed up the whole process, and the commissioner's trying to figure out how to deal with this.
Vernon Cupp. Mr. Cupp, you're charged on October 29, improper use of the commuter lane. How do you plead?
Your Honor, I'd like to have additional time to plead.
Additional time to plead?
Complaint.
Pardon me?
I'd like to have additional time to plead and ask for a verified complaint.
This is an infraction, sir. This is an infraction. No complaint's been issued in this case.
When the commissioner said, this is an infraction, not a complaint, it wasn't what I was told was going to happen, and my mind went blank. And again, I wasn't sure what to do, but I knew that I was not allowed to waive time or waive my rights. That was the one thing that the people that trained me told me to do.
And let me see. I am denying your request for a verified complaint, and I'm denying this in the event that you consider it to be a motion on any constitutional basis. If you wish additional time to plead, I will give that to you.
Yes, sir, I'd like that.
Okay, I'm going to put this matter up for 30 days.
Yes, sir. Do I need to?
Continue this matter 30 days for plea. Thank you, sir.
When I came back from my second court appearance, I had a better grasp of what was going on. I had done some studying, and I had more coaching from the people that were training me. I also had filed some papers or typed them up. I, again, wasn't doing it correctly because I handed it to the bailiff to hand to the commissioner. That's called serving over the bench, and I should have filed them with the clerk 5 days before. You'll need to know this, and you'll need to check what your filing time is for each county. Nothing was going the way I was told it was going to go. And in his moments of silences, again, he's reading all these papers that I handed him. Again, I'm gumming up the works with all these people standing behind me.
Ronald Vernon Cupp. Mr. Cupp, or Cupp, you're charged on October 29, improper use of the preferential lanes. How do you plead, sir?
Commissioner, I have a legal objection to this proceeding that concerns the integrity of this court. I request you read my papers before proceeding any further.
What do you have, sir?
I have papers I'd like you to read.
Well, let me see them. You should have filed them in a timely manner. I don't usually accept the papers filed over the bench. Let me see what you have. First of all, your objection to me acting as a commissioner is denied. I have coextensive jurisdiction with any Superior Court judge in matters that are before this bench. So that's denied. And there's no need to do any research on this. The rest of this matter, I've seen these motions before.
Again, pay attention. He tries 2 more times to get me to plea as we're going through this process.
frankly don't have time to go over your motion right now. However, do you wish to enter a plea at this point?
No, Your Honor.
No. All right. What I'm going to do then is I've already denied your objection to my status in this courtroom, so that's done for, and there's no need for further conversation about that. If you want discovery in this case, you're entitled to discovery. However, you'd have to make an appropriate motion. This probably complies, although it's not timely. You're completely off base on your argument about commissioner versus judge, sir. You ought to read the government code.
Now at the end, watch, he enters a plea of not guilty on my behalf so that I'm under contract with the court so he can schedule me back for trial.
And your constitutional argument is also off base, and I'm going to deny it on that basis as well. How do you wish to enter a plea, sir, at this time?
Commissioner, I'd like additional time for discovery.
Fine, I'm going to enter a plea of not guilty on your behalf. Set the matter for trial. Thank you very much, sir. Step aside.
After my second court appearance, I was much more calm and knew what to expect. I did some more research with the people training me and filed 2 separate papers. I didn't know I could file them at the same time. One was a preemptory challenge, which means I can challenge the commissioner because he was prejudiced against me. And normally courts that have more than one will automatically set you for another one. And the second was to remove the court-entered plea. Now, I was told when I would come back that I was actually scheduled for trial. And at that point, the police officer would show up. In the normal course of events, the commissioner would say you were charged with, and then ask the officer to tell his side of the story. And then he would turn to me and say, how do you plea? And at that point, want me to tell my side of the story. I was told not to say anything, just that I wasn't here to plea, that I was here to remove the court-entered plea for me, which meant I still wasn't under contract or jurisdiction with the court, and the police officer had come for nothing because the trial could not take. It's normally at that point that I get my dismissal. So I was ready, I was armed, I was ready for battle. I came for my next appointed court date against the same first commissioner, and I was taken off the docket, and I didn't know why. I went up to the clerk, and they said that I had been assigned a new commissioner because of my filing, and that I had scheduled a new court date that I was to appear before the new commissioner at that time for my trial.
Ronald Koch.
Yes, sir.
Your case is dismissed. There's no money to refund because you were released in your own time.
Thank you. When I came in, there was no cop. He called everybody up, and he just said the police officer wasn't there, and that my case was dismissed. It's a sweet victory, even though I was ready to battle at this time. So take the victories where you can get them.